Hi, Scott here. Just want to create a really brief video and just talk about a few things here. First, let's talk about some deadline clarification. Secondly, we're going to talk about about moving the SEO services inside of the site, so that way you can order them inside of the site rather than having to go over to the help desk. We've decided to do that, and so hopefully we can have that feature available here in a week or so. And then secondly, we plan to enhance the daily summary area. And we'll talk about this area first. So when you come to the home page and notice the daily summary area, it's really not that helpful at this point. I mean, it is kind of nice that you can go directly to requests that are showing as overdue. So right now, this is basically what it does, and this is a summary of just the daily activity. So we plan to enhance this, and I'll pull up a Word document of a mock-up that we have on the table here. And from your notification settings inside of your account, we plan to add what is called some threshold rules, and this ties in with the deadlines as well as requests that you put into the system that aren't being applied for. So we plan to add some request threshold rules. Okay, something you can come in here and just check, and this one here would work like this, where it would notify you of requests not applied for, and you set the time frame here, 12 hours, 24, 36, 48. Or notify you when any request is within 12 hours of an approaching deadline. All right, so you're able to actually see when requests are approaching their deadline. And then notify me and flag site admin of overdue requests. All right, so you can check all three of these and they can all work, and so it just means that you would get an email. Now we've talked about the email. The email template for this would be a digest, so you wouldn't get an email every single time this resulted or this rule was triggered. It would be in a digest form. All right. And a digest is simply what it means is a script checks the system let's say every hour, and then it says, okay, let's go ahead, or every 20 minutes. I think it's every 20 minutes for the threshold that we have for unread messages. So every 20 minutes, the system will send an email informing you and giving you a heads up, and ultimately what you'll be able to do is log into the daily summary area, which I'm showing you right here. This is how it currently looks. But we plan to enhance it in that you'll actually be able to select summary of activity for the current day, yesterday, this week, last month, all time. And then in addition to this, we'll enhance it in that each of these will give you the ability to, you'll be able to see new discussion messages. So it's really one place that you can see all your messages, your private messages, your discussion messages, requests that were completed, revisions, if you have any pending, and then your triggered threshold rules right here. Shows you this, and you'll be able to actually edit the rule on the fly. So down below here, what you're looking at is a view. So for example, if I clicked view on requests overdue, in other words, requests, well actually this is, yes, right down here. So let's see, let me move this up so you can see this. There we go. Okay, so if I clicked view on 2 requests overdue, then I would see this view right here. Okay, so you'd actually be able to see the requests rather than having to go into your managed projects area. And the same is for requests not applied for. And once again, you'll be able to edit the rule right here. So in clicking that, you'll be able to see this. You'll see this view right here. Okay, so and then when you click the title, it'll open up in a new window, so you'll stay on the same page, and so on and so forth. And the same will be, I'm talking to the developers about making it the same for these. So that way when you click view, you'll be able to see the job and the actual message, or the actual jobs that have discussion messages on them, as indicated by this little guy right here. We may just maybe make it a shade of red or something like that, and so on and so forth, down through requests that are completed and revisions complete. So you'll have one area that eventually the site will just take you into. This will be the first area you'll log into, and you'll see everything at a glance. So we think that it'll help you organize things a little bit better. Once again, I've talked to our developers about doing this. They said that we can create a very simple form of this at first, and then just eventually start adding this functionality, because it's going to take a little bit of time to develop. Okay, so now that I've talked about that, let me just pull up a screen here. So when you click on Effective SEO right here, you're going to be able to see where you'll be able to select SEO link wheels as well as Facebook and Twitter page creation. We just started offering these services. We wanted to see how well they would be, how receptive it would be with clients. And thus far, the reception is really well, and we already have clients who have actually been commissioning us to do this work for them. So if you're curious about what an SEO link wheel is, feel free to inquire with us, and we're happy to share with you. I plan to do an interview actually with one of our SEO persons, and post a video up on YouTube about the benefits of an SEO link wheel, what it is, what you can expect, and why you should be using one. So you'll be able to see a form which will look very similar like this on the site, and then everything will be priced out accordingly, so you won't have to leave the site. And the same with the Facebook and Twitter pages. So let's go back and let's talk about the deadlines. Okay, so on the deadlines, how do they work? Well, it's like a deadline should work. When you designate, so for example here you can see I have 2 open requests here, and one is a pay deadline, which is $1.50, and that is indicated, by the way, on the writer side right here. They do see that it's a paid priority, and they are to do their best to meet the paid priority, and if it is not met, then communication is supposed to be forthcoming. They can see what the deadline is supposed to be all the way through the request from the time they apply for it, even before they apply for it. So if they don't meet the deadline, then they are supposed to communicate with you. It is policy. It doesn't matter if it's a pay deadline or just a standard deadline, which starts at 4 days. And so we don't allow authors to just totally ignore this. They have to communicate with you. So if you notice that a deadline has expired, or you're not receiving communication, no communication is forthcoming, then you can simply let us know just by going to the request like this, click the title, and go to flag the article, right? Flag the request, and explain to us what's going on. We're happy to deal with it. We take steps to deal with these types of things, and we reward authors for good work, as well as penalize for issues like this. So I just wanted you to know that the pay deadlines are visible to authors, and they do see a clock here that explains to them, or that basically points out when a deadline is passed. And once again, they can always see what the deadline is, and they are to manage this. And as a matter of fact, we also give them the option here to state whether or not they're backlogged. So you might want to pay attention to this too. By the way, some writers will say, "I'm only taking private orders. I'm backlogged. Vacation available." Okay, and it may not be a bad idea that if you plan to put a request through to an author, and you plan to put a paid deadline through, it might not be a bad idea to maybe contact, if it's going to be a private request, is to go in and check the author to see their availability, to make sure that they're available, and maybe communicate with them. If you go in and you create just a standard request that's public, that's open to the entire public queue, you're certainly more than welcome to do that. And once again, the rule stands that any author that picks up a paid priority or just a standard priority, they are to treat it with urgency and to manage their work queue. So once again, that is just a little bit of clarification on the deadlines. And if you have any questions, please feel free, in regards to this video, please feel free to let us know. We're happy to hear your feedback, and thanks for watching. Take care.